Hello, my name is Fiona Buckley and I'm a lecturer based in the Department of Government and Politics in University College Cork, where I research and teach about women in Irish politics. Today, drawing on the research that I and others have conducted, I will present an insight into what it is like to be a woman in Irish politics today. While a vast section of the population are eligible to run for office, only a small cohort do. Of those who do run, men outnumber women. For example, at the 2020 general election, 519 people put themselves forward for election, 162 women and 357 men. Historical, sociocultural, and socio-structural reasons explain this difference, with many researchers referring to the 5 C's of cash, care, confidence, culture, and candidate selection to describe the gendered barriers or conditions that shape women's access into politics. Increasingly, a 6th C, that of cyberspace, is posing a barrier as women in public life become targets for online abuse, some of which can be particularly sexist. Over the past few months, Dr. Lisa Keenan of Trinity College Dublin and I, in collaboration with Women for Election, have interviewed women who contested the 2019 local and European elections and the 2020 general election to get a sense of what enables those women who do run to run. The study involved interviewing a sample set of women who are mostly first-time candidates at these elections. While we can't draw conclusions that are representative of every woman's experience, we can identify certain patterns. When women run for political office in Ireland, a majority contest under a party banner. For example, at the 2020 general election, 85% of women contested election as party candidates. For the women who contest election as party candidates, political parties play a pivotal role across all of the stages of their political candidacy, from the decision to run to getting on the ticket, and from contesting election to getting elected. The 3 R's of recruitment, resources, and resistance sum up our interviewees' experiences of party politics. When it comes to recruitment, the vital role political parties play in candidate recruitment cannot be overemphasised. Many women speak about being approached by a party to run, or if already a party member, being approached by party officials or party members to put themselves forward, noting that running for election was something that they had not considered prior to being asked. Political parties also play a pivotal role in the provision of resources. Providing resources to support candidates is important, whether this comes in the shape of providing party funding, organising personnel for campaign teams, offering capacity training and mentoring, or providing practical canvas materials such as posters and leaflets. This is particularly vital for first-time candidates or candidates who may not have personal funds and networks to draw upon. However, some of our interviewees experienced resistance. Internal tribal politics has always been a feature of party politics, and these can be heightened when new candidates are selected to run for a political party. Examples of resistance include the withholding of party resources, some party members refusing to campaign for a new candidate, and internal whispering campaigns. If political parties are serious about women's candidacy and seeing more women elected, a clear finding and message from research conducted in Ireland and elsewhere is that those candidacies must be supported through the provision of resources. Furthermore, to enable a reasonable chance of election, newer women must be selected to contest in constituencies where the party has a reasonable chance of winning a seat. However, incumbency poses a challenge to this. An incumbent is someone who already holds a seat and is seeking re-election. At election time, political parties seek to maximise their vote. And in Ireland, where personalism is such a strong feature of the political culture, political parties will rely on the tried and tested incumbent whose name recognition and past record in office the party hopes will boost its vote. In some constituencies, however, a political party may run only one candidate, and if this is the incumbent, then it's very difficult for new candidates to emerge. Of the 138 incumbent TDs who sought re-election in February's general election, 107, over 77%, were men, posing a particular issue for the emergence of new women candidates. At the individual level, the issue of resources and practical supports is also pertinent across the various stages of political candidacy. Women note that having time to run and having access to funding are important factors, but without the support of family and friends, assistance with care responsibilities, job flexibility, and personal networks, the pathway to political office will be a lot more difficult. Women speak about their concerns and worries about the effects of political life on their families and spoke warmly of their partners, parents, and children's encouragement of their political activism. The practical supports offered by family and friends are crucial, a point particularly noted by women with care responsibility, whether this is childcare or caring for a family member with special needs. It is clear from the women's stories of the campaign trail that there is an expectation to be self sufficient and self reliant, i.e., if one cannot self fund or assemble their own campaign team or group of canvassers, the election campaign may struggle to be effective. However, access to finance and personal networks is oftentimes gendered, but this is further mediated, as highlighted in research from Ireland and elsewhere, by socioeconomic status, ethnicity, disability, and migrant status. In terms of finance, in 2016, the average spend by women on their election campaigns was €10,000. This is money that candidates self raised independent of party support. This is not an insignificant sum of money, given the average annual earnings in Ireland in 2019 was approximately €40,000. If we delve into this figure in more detail, we can see that the average earnings for part time employees averaged €18,305. Women are more likely than men to work part time hours as they balance paid employment with care responsibilities. In light of this fact, and on the basis of these figures, we can understand why funding is a gendered factor shaping women's access into politics. The motivation to run for political office often stems from a desire to engender change on matters of either a personal nature, such as a family health issue, or on matters of a community nature or of a wider societal and global nature. All interviewees in the study we conducted for Women for Election shared a belief that being in political office was key to enabling change. The trust in the political system was oftentimes fostered in childhood. While very few of the women we interviewed described their families as party people, many were socialized in families with a strong spirit of community involvement and or volunteerism. This exposure to community activism from a young age fostered and nurtured an interest in local affairs and public service. Many women express self doubt or a lack of confidence about putting themselves forward for candidate selection or election. Oftentimes, this sentiment stems from a political culture which has traditionally marginalised women from politics. Role model effects, i.e., seeing other women in politics, mentoring from women and men who either currently serve or previously served in public office, and capacity training from organisations such as Women for Election and the She Project have enabled women to overcome or at the very least manage these feelings. However, resistance and hostility, particularly on social media, is recalled. This can be sexist and personal in nature. Tom Fell, Emer Macaulay, and Amy Blaney of NUI Galway reveal in their ongoing research study, which they entitle Toxic Tweets, Female Politicians, Social Media and Misogyny, that some 96% of the current and former female politicians that they interviewed have received social media and or electronic messages that used foul language or made an inappropriate comment about their appearance and intelligence. Some 73% have been threatened with physical violence via social media, while 38% have been threatened with rape or sexual violence. Some 28% said that they had been verbally abused in public. The support of family, friends, and party is essential when such incidences arise. While all politicians are prepared for the vagaries of a political campaign and being in political office, we must be careful not to minimise these incidents as the mere cut and trust of politics, as to do so will compound the problem and risk women opting out of politics, resulting in the disempowerment of women. As Tom Fell, Emer Macaulay, and Amy Blaney remind us, threats of physical or sexual violence is a crime, and those responsible should face the full rigours of the law. But platforms that host these threats also bear a responsibility to weed it out. Being elected is a huge honour, and women speak of it in humbling terms. They are hugely respectful of the faith that voters have entrusted in them and are privileged to serve and represent their constituents. However, there is little time to adjust to the reality of being an elected public representative. Unlike most other professions, there is very little, mostly none at all, protected time and space to induct into the role. Much of the training takes place on the job or informally by reaching out to other public representatives, present or former, who offer tips and advice. In conclusion, political scientists Merrill Kenny and Jennifer Piscopo argue that exhorting women to simply lean in cannot resolve the problem of men's overrepresentation in politics. There is a need to understand and recognise the gendered dynamics shaping women's candidate selection and emergence, their experiences of the campaign trail, and women's experiences of political office. These gendered dynamics include individual, institutional, and contextual factors, some of which were highlighted in the course of this presentation. Thank you.